Primetime. That's the name.
Primetime.
Primetime.
What time is it? Showtime, primetime.
It's XL Primetime, featuring Joe C.
I'm having nightmares right now.
Matt Hayes.
Big asses, big thighs, yeah.
And Leon Searcy.
Dead Bath to Leon. Nothing says football like scented soap.
How you like me now? How you like me now?
A day away from the Final Four, finding out which of the two SEC teams gets to represent the SEC in the Natty. Will it be the Auburn Tigers / War Eagle / Plainsmen, or will it be the Florida Gators? Either one of those can move on to the national championship game, and then they will face off the winner of Houston and Duke. And looking forward to both of those national semi-final games. Welcome in to a Florida Home AC Friday. We are minus Big Searcy today. He is out, but we'll be back on Monday. But Matt Hayes, look to your right as JJ adjusts the YouTube shot inside the studios. Coach Campo, ready to rock and roll.
I mean, it's always
he's in and he's fired up.
A little bit smaller guy in this chair right
Pull
here.
closer to your microphone. There you go.
Yeah, let me get in here.
Exactly.
You do not like the short chairs.
Yeah.
No, I had to go high. I don't like to. Listen, I have little man's complex. That's all there is to it.
And I'll agree with you.
Yeah.
All I ever asked for is a couple more inches. Just wanted to be up there a little tree tall.
Yeah,
that's
absolutely.
all.
The best trip I ever made was the years we played in Japan. I was the tallest guy on the street.
All right, we had a good time, Coach and I, earlier today on StreamYard, which is the actual live stream when you're watching different things on the 1010XL social channels. And so you're invited to go back and do relive that if you missed it earlier. But we will do that every Friday at 9:25 in the morning in honor of 92.5. So we'll definitely hit some of the high notes that we talked about with the draft, but then also we've got some college football news, some college basketball news that we need to get to. And if you guys want to take a look at who you think is going to win the games tomorrow night, by all means, hit the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures at 641-1010. We made our picks yesterday, Matt. You went with Auburn over Florida. You picked the under in that game, picked Houston outright. I like Houston a lot, catching the points against the Duke Blue Devils. I don't know if they can pull it off, but I definitely like them, and I'm picking Florida just because of the fandom in me as a proud graduate of the University of Florida, but also the way they played Auburn the last go-around. So I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes.
I think it's more A than anything else for you.
Nothing wrong with that. And believe me,
it is.
if I'm looking – all right, take a look at this, though. If you go, okay, wait a minute, set the fandom aside – this team went into that team's building when they were number one in the land and worked them. And that was without Elijah Martin. And so you can't help but at least look at some of those things and say,
sure.
And had Handlockton come back at that point? I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, he had.
Yeah.
But I mean,
anyway.
And it also should have been worse than 9 points. It was really more like a 15, 18 point.
Yeah. Yeah. It was an impressive win for them.
Whipping. Right. So I understand that. I embrace that reality, Joe. Mm-hmm. I also, however, have embraced the way they've played the last three games in the tournament. And it's not like they're getting better or it's a little thing here or a little thing there. It's the same MO every game.
Right.
Every game. They don't protect the ball. I mean, in the NCAA tournament, every single possession is critical. Every possession.
Right.
Which means every single turnover is then exacerbated. And they can't stop turning the ball over right now. Mm-hmm. That's number one. Number two, they're not playing defensively as well as they have in the regular season. And I think a lot of that has to do with Condon, whose knee is obviously dinged up.
Right.
Or not knee, ankle. So, I mean, he needs to play better. I think if he plays better, you'll see a different team. Because whether you believe or not, and I know they're all shooters, and they've got 3 or 4 different guys that can create shots for others, mm-hmm. That's an inside-out offense. It just is. That's the way it works. And he has to be a guy inside there that can be a threat to score. He has not been a threat to score the last 2 or 3 games.
Yeah, got to be a little more productive in the paint.
Well, you just got to hand the ball to Clayton with about 2 minutes left, and you got a great chance of winning.
Right, but how many times are you going to be able to do that?
I know.
Especially as the further you get in the tournament, the more difficult your games are.
No, I'm with you. I'm just saying that they have a way. My point is they have a way of.
Yeah, I would agree that too.
Start slow and finish fast.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be interesting.
Yeah.
I think Auburn's really good. I mean,
Auburn,
all of them, all 4 of them are good.
When Auburn can shoot, they'll blow anybody out of the building. I don't care who it is.
And when you take a look, if Janai Broome is healthy, then you're looking at a guy that also has caught his stride in the tournament,
right,
in the most important stretch of the season. What he's been able to do, double-double, has been nothing short of impressive. Yeah. He's got to make sure he's healthy. Miss practices
I'm a
twice this week.
guy myself because
yeah,
I'm Big 12.
I like the age thing. I like the fact that they've got a bunch of 22 and 23-year-olds in that team that have been through the wars, that have been through the pressure of winning, win or go home situations,
right.
Not just this year, in previous years.
Mm-hmm.
And they're tough, man. They are physically tough, and they're mentally tough, obviously. Yeah. So that's why I like them. And the way they play defense, the way they guard on the perimeter, that's going to be a problem for Duke. Mm-hmm. So, because Duke hasn't faced anyone that guards on the perimeter like Houston.
Yeah. I need to hit this as of that because this is something that I don't think we're realizing or have been talking about a little bit.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is where the legal world, or you could call it the world off the competition floor or competition field, takes over. And we haven't been paying attention to this at all. Now, during the NCAA tournament, we had coaches accept jobs before they were finished with their job. We've had players leave their teams and enter the transfer portal. We've had all sorts of things going on. Well, now, the day of the national championship game, which is Monday, California will have a judge rule on the House versus the NCAA settlement, and it basically could change the revenue model, which, Matt, you've been following a bunch. But the crazy thing that's happening right now, apparently, is that this could change the revenue model with the way money is being handed out to these players. They are trying to get deals done right now between practices. In other words, Auburn has Zoom calls and has visits with guys over the last 24, 48 hours.
To avoid the cap.
Well, yeah, to make sure that whatever the ruling is, if they have a deal done, they can't undo that deal with a player.
It's grandfathered in.
It's just nuts what's going on in our little old sleepy world of college sports.
Yeah, it's because once that happens, on July 1, it begins. I don't know why Auburn's doing it now, but on July 1 is when it'll begin.
The ruling takes place, at least the way it's saying.
Right, so Claudia Wilkin will rule. She's a U.S. district judge in the 5th district, I believe, in San Francisco.
In Oakland.
Mm-hmm. So she will rule on it on the 7th, which is Monday, same day as the tournament. Same the championship game, tournament championship game.
Yeah.
And when she does, if she agrees to the settlement, it's already been settled. If she agrees to it,
right,
then it's done deal. It's in law. But it doesn't take effect until July 1 with the beginning of the new school year. So I don't know why Auburn's trying to do this, but they're trying to get under the cap. My guess is because they're trying to get guys signed before someone else comes and grabs them and tries to give them more money.
Right, which may take them over the cap. I think is that what you're saying?
No, because the cap won't start until July 1. Like anyone who was signed prior to that is grandfathered in.
Yeah, I'm just looking. All right, Zoom meetings with transfers yesterday, just hours after practice. I
think they're just trying to get players. What they're trying to do before someone else does.
Yeah, 100%. That's what they're doing.
Right.
But they're wanting to spend the money before there's anything that changes. And it's just nuts when you talk about it, the dollars that are out there, what is at stake.
So it's 20 every FBS school will be allowed to spend 20 to 23 million on player salaries. All sports, not just football or basketball, all sports. Now it doesn't mean you have to spend 20 to 23 million. Yeah. It just means that's what you're allowed to.
Right.
Yeah, and if you don't spend that, then you're behind the behind the 8 ball.
And there's going to be, my guess would be, of the 130, I think there's 136 FBS schools. My guess is there will probably be 80, 85 that won't spend 20 to 23 million.
No, they'll spend what they can,
whatever they can afford,
garner from their boosters, and this is money that has to go through the university. Not to mention the money that's being spent outside the university.
Guys, get ready for it. There's going to be a union in college basketball before you know it. It's an NFL. It's an NFL and college sports. Period. You're right. Yeah,
it's an NFL model. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. And they obviously got to be careful on both sides because one doesn't necessarily want to show you everything they're making. The other one doesn't necessarily want to pay tax on everything that they're making. There's all kinds of things that that come with it. I always refer to it as the unintended consequences of all these moves. And,
Bill Self said this the other day. I know you don't think Bill Self.
Just like before or after he was like illegally calling people.
Well. All I know is
he has a lifetime contract contract. That's all he cares about.
What does he care? Yeah. In his contract, it says he can't be fired for cheating. So what does he care?
All I know is that I listened to him. Let me put it that way. And he said the other day, he said, everybody's all over the place with this going on right now. Mm-hmm. He says 3 years from now, it'll just be back to everybody. This is the way we do it, and that's it.
He's right.
I said that's the way it works.
He's right. I say this all the time. You hear coaches and administrators at the collegiate level all say it's unsustainable. Well, it is sustainable because not only is it continue to grow, it's getting bigger and bigger and bigger every single year. And they find a new way to adjust to the fact that it's getting bigger and bigger.
Adaptability. Yes. That's it. It's the same thing when they put these new rules in the NFL. I've told you the story with Woodson.
Yeah.
He came in
Darren
after they
Woodson,
put the launch in. He said, I can't do this. I can't. I said, yeah, well, you either do it or you don't play.
Someone else will, right.
Then a year later, he's just playing football. That's it.
Well, the other part of this is we say that they'll just figure this out, and there's still going to be that undetermined amount of governance that's going to come along with this. And I don't know exactly what it's going to be or when it's going to happen.
There's literally none.
Yeah, none. And so once that ultimately happens, then we're going to find out whether guardrails do anything to fix everything.
Yeah,
right. Because that has to happen. Here's another thing that I don't think I've ever read. Have you, and I'm looking at Coach since he's a former defensive coordinator, former head coach, former defensive coordinator for a number of years. But one of the quotes in this story was from Mike Burgomaster. He is described as the Auburn offensive coordinator. And I'd never heard of that in basketball. Have you ever heard of any such thing?
Not offensive coordinator. I've heard of That's fine.
I'd never heard of it.
Well, they have individual
coordinates
guys.
Offensive game plans.
Yeah. It's interesting. I never heard it.
Well, yeah, I've never heard of it either, but I've heard of these guys. This guy coaches the big men. This guy coaches.
They used to call them specialists.
Three-point guys.
Right, the big man specialist.
That's why there's so many of those guys sitting on the bench. They all have a different duty.
Yeah. Remember Billy Donovan hired Larry Scheid as his defensive specialist? He was his defensive coach.
Yeah,
I guess that means defensive coordinator now.
Yeah, right.
I just honestly had never heard of it listed. You could say offensive assistant, and it's totally accepted in basketball, but offensive coordinator, I'm like, what? I don't think I've ever heard that.
Oh, you're right.
But there we are. All right, so we get back to the games. We're going to look at them a number of different ways. Just talk about the way they've been put together, the age range of Auburn. We definitely have talked a little bit about the transfer guys that have already come in there and what they've been able to do. And then you look at Duke, how they were constructed. They were able to pull some guys in from the transfer portal, but they also are going with two superstar freshmen in Cooper Flagg and my favorite guy, Con Knippel. Okay? That guy just balls, all right? I love him. And so I don't know whether I'm going to pick them to win, but I love that guy. And so anyway, we'll be getting into both matchups. You guys hit the text line 641-1010 and let us know what you think about either side of either of those games, who you're going for. All right, so Coach Campo's with us. We're going to talk draft, kind of get that going in that direction coming up here in just a second. A Florida Home AC Friday, and you are more than welcome to hit JJ up with some good rock and roll suggestions on the text line designed by Lifetime Enclosures.
But first, let's meet our contestants. Behind curtain number 1.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser. The Drill. Mornings on 1010XL.
I'm Chris Campione. Auto accidents can leave you feeling lost and overwhelmed. But at Campione Law, we're here to guide you with a personal touch through every step of the process. We don't get paid unless you get paid. CampioneLaw.com.
Count on Campione, Campione Law.
Best Bet is number 1. That's right, Best Bet Jacksonville, Orange Park, and St. Augustine have one-card poker, the fastest and easiest card game to learn and play. Play one card at a time, and the highest card wins even money. If the card values are the same, it's time for war, just like the game you remember. You must be 18 years or older to play. Learn all the games at bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
Hey everybody, it's Mike Dempsey, and I only like to recommend the best, which is why I'm proud to say that I chose Pella Windows and Doors for my own home. And now's a great time to upgrade your home with 0% financing for 60 months. That's 5 years of interest-free payments on the best windows and doors in the business. Don't wait. Schedule a free consultation at PellaJacks.com or visit their showroom on Phillips Highway just north of Bay Meadows. For quality you can trust and savings you can't miss, that's Pella Windows and Doors.
When you're experiencing sudden, unexpected dental pain, the last thing you want to hear is that your dentist can't see you until next week. That's why I'm so glad I found Harbor Dental Care. Whenever I call, they always find a way to see me within 24 hours, and they can usually fix whatever's wrong the same day. Plus, they have locations throughout Jacksonville, so no matter what side of town I'm on, I can always count on the same great care. If you want to find a dentist who believes in treating people right, learn more at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
Out with the old, in with the organized. Mia here for my friends at Closets by Design. Freshen up your home this spring with a custom organization solution. For a limited time, take advantage of our spring special and enjoy exclusive savings on closets, garages, home offices, and more. That's 40% off with an additional 50% off with 12-month special financing through April. Spring on this deal before it's gone. Call today to schedule your free in-home consultation with Closets by Design.
Denny Thompson here. You got to check out Tyson's Showroom Home Theater with surround sound and comfy theater chairs. You can transform your living room into a cinematic experience. I can stay there to watch all my games. It's that comfortable. Call Tyson today and bring the theater experience home. Tyson Sound and Security, your security, home theater, and home automation experts. New showroom at 3555 U.S. Highway 17 in Fleming, Iowa.
Sometimes you agree with him, sometimes you don't.
On the runway, I'm coming in hot.
CBS Sports senior NFL writer Pete Prisco joins the Frangie Show Friday afternoons on 1010XL. Brought to you by Showtime Sports Cards and Collectibles.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a slip and slide gone wrong? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Lots of jewelry stores in the town center, but only one is locally owned, Beard's Diamonds.
We're the only local jewelry store at the town center.
That's Jacksonville's John Lupo, owner of Beard's for over 4 decades.
We're entrenched in Jacksonville, Florida.
In a sea of mega chain jewelers, John says it's easy to stand out because he's not handcuffed by a corporate handbook.
I am not beholden to a corporate structure, so we've got flexibility to do whatever we can and want, and we do.
And that includes lowering prices to undercut them every day.
Quality for quality, color for color, everything the same. We should be able to beat them hands down by minimum 20%. We go overseas ourselves. We know exactly what we're buying. This isn't getting marked up in a corporate structure. We will beat anybody's price anywhere.
So before you buy anything at one of those chains, get a second opinion at locally owned Beard's Diamonds. No corporate atmosphere, no corporate rules, no corporate high markups.
We want you to come shop us and you'll see a lot better price here.
Beard's Diamonds.
Everybody gets a good deal at Beard's.
Hey, Hicken here, or just call me Dreamfinders Danny. For a limited time to ring in the new year, Dreamfinders Homes is offering an amazing 4.99% fixed interest rate. Now's your chance to lock down that rate and get in the game. You heard me right. It's 4.99 fixed interest rate on select move-in ready homes. Visit dreamfindershomes.com for sales event information and get in the game. Interest rate available on select move-in ready homes. Restrictions and limitations apply. Go to dreamfindershomes.com for more details.
Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Beautiful Friday afternoon. We say thanks to Florida Home AC. They are the official AC providers of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Make them yours as well. Tune-up time, man. I tell you right now, make sure you get that AC unit humming for the hot season, which you know is just around the corner. We had temps in the mid-80s this week, and then it's going to cool off again next week. But make sure you get that tune-up done right now. All you got to do is log on, FloridaHomeAC.com. Take advantage of their special right now. So we got Coach Campo in with us, Maddie. We're going to talk some draft. We're going to get into some of the different possibilities and where it could land, the more and more we all hear, there's less likelihood that the Cleveland Browns and or the New York Giants are going to do the bold step and take a Shedeur Sanders within the top 3 picks of the NFL draft. He had his pro day today. Have you caught anything from that?
Not yet. But I'm not buying it.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
like Brian Dable is an example.
It's just typical pre-draft talk. At the end of the day, they want quarterbacks.
Okay, but let's pair this up. And I'll ask both of you guys this question. You can't convince me that they're convinced that the guy after Cam Ward is as good as Cam Ward and worthy of a top 3 pick. Quarterbacks make you crazy. I say it all the time, and it will probably make someone reach. But when they don't think the guy is good enough, they'd be crazy to take him.
So this is just me, and I'm going to get your thoughts on it too, Dave. It's no offense, JJ. Who says Cam Ward's that much better than Shedeur Sanders, Jackson Dart?
Don't know, just based on what we're seeing.
Based on what other guys are saying, on what, scouts are saying, and Cam Ward's saying, you got to pick me number 1 overall. Who says he's the best?
Okay, but then use your own eyes. What
right, that's kind of my point.
Yeah.
My point is I think there's very little difference between the 3 of them.
Uh-huh.
And if that's your reason why the Giants and the Browns aren't taking it, because they don't think any of the 3 are worthy of being picked that high, I understand that. But at the end of the day, guess what? Who's your quarterback, Cleveland? Who's your quarterback?
No, I get that.
Right?
There's still a possibility. Well, let's not forget, New York.
Kirk Cousins still out there.
Yes, Kirk Cousins is still out there, and Russ Wilson can still be 70% of what he was.
Yeah, to me, if they don't go 1 and 2, then they don't think either one of them are any good, to be honest with you. I mean, I think if it's just been pushed, there is no question that the Titans are taking Cam Ward. They've made a decision on Levis, in my opinion. Now, the other guys, you really don't have any idea, because obviously there's something that's pushing everybody to say Shedeur is going to be in the middle of the pack in the first round.
Right.
Well, there's not that much difference between Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders. I've watched them both play.
Mm-hmm.
Shedeur has actually made more things happen with less up in front of him. Okay? So, I mean, there's things out there that you like. I think some of it is that sometimes, because of all the notoriety out there with Deion Sanders and all this stuff, that some people feel you would look at him and say, well, he's a little bit of a con man.
Distraction.
Yeah. He's already the NIL king. What's he going to do when he gets the money? Is he hasn't shown that he throws as many interceptions as he does touchdowns.
Right.
But he hasn't had he's had the surrounding guys catching the ball, but not anybody up in front of him that keeps him from getting hit. So he scrambles around and makes some bad decisions. Well, Ward did the same thing. I watched him, but for some reason, Ward, to me, is more poised.
And then the other part of it is that I'd have to go back and look. Maybe JJ can answer this, because when he came in from Washington State, little turnover prone. He had too many of those that were landing in the hands of the opponent more often than he should have. He had a couple of those early. Did he clean that up in your mind, JJ, down the stretch?
Oh, dude, he barely turned the ball over at all. I mean, he had some really stupid plays that he would try to do too much.
Yeah.
Every single game, there was like one. But, I mean, to me, there's no question who the better quarterback was in college. I don't know what they're going to be in the pros, but I mean.
Of course. Yeah.
And Matt's like, who's saying he's better? Like, literally everyone in the whole draft process that I've heard says Cam Ward's going to be, is a better prospect than Sanders is.
Right. And they may be all wet.
But probably all the same guys that said Trey Lance was worth 3 first-round picks, too.
It's not an exact science, guys.
But let's clarify that. Trey Lance wasn't in everybody's top 3. He was in San Francisco's top 3. They made that decision. He wasn't projected.
Everyone was saying Trey Lance was a top 5 pick.
I don't remember that. Is what I'm saying.
Everyone was saying he was a top 5 pick. The Niners just traded the picks to get there, to get him.
Yeah. This goes back to the whole thing. Has anyone learned a lesson from that? If that was the truth?
No, but that's kind of my point, Joe, that this is all just draft
So compare
Smokescreen.
Cam Ward to Trey Lance, man. That's crazy talk.
Yeah.
No, I'm not comparing the quarterbacks, JJ. I'm comparing the situations. That's all.
Yeah, and the other part of it is
people were saying that they were crazy to do that at the time.
Yeah, I don't remember people having him way
Everybody
up there.
had Zach Wilson in the top 3 or 2.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure.
Yes, we can definitely agree on
Here's a better one. An even better one. You ready for this one? Everyone had Trevor Lawrence as the best quarterback in 15 years.
Including us.
Yes.
Yeah, including us.
That's kind of my point.
Yeah. No, I'm not following your point because that has nothing to do with...
We have no idea what these guys are.
Right.
No idea. So everybody's saying, oh, he's the obvious number one. You have no idea.
But you're not following along. Shedeur Sanders is not being said by everybody that he's at the top.
No,
I'm
talking about Cam Ward. Like JJ's saying, everybody's saying Cam Ward.
No, we're comparing these two quarterbacks.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, man?
I
never
think
said
Cam
anything
Ward's
about
a better
Cam Ward
quarterback.
being better than whoever.
You just said every person says he's the best quarterback in the draft. Did you not just say that?
Yes.
Yeah.
In
My
this
point
draft.
my point is who cares?
Okay, but
who cares what people say?
The teams.
Yeah,
The teams also are saying that.
Right, and I just gave you all the
No
all
one's
the
going to trade up to take him at number one.
And I just gave you all the teams that said all those other quarterbacks were there too.
Okay, but just please listen, okay? Everyone has Cam Ward up here. Not everybody has Shedeur Sanders up here. We're trying to wedge him up there. We're trying to wedge a Jackson.
Right, and I'm telling you, I don't believe that everybody doesn't have Shedeur Sanders up there. I think they do.
Well, we'll find out in 3 weeks.
Yes.
That all of a sudden Shedeur Sanders is going to get picked number 1 overall.
Right.
I didn't say 1 overall.
Well, that's what we were talking
2.
about with Cam Ward.
Yeah.
Right, JJ. My
2 or
point
3
was
is what
I
I'm
don't think
thinking.
there's that much of a difference between those 3 quarterbacks. That was my first initial statement, and I don't think that. Yeah. I've watched all 3 of them play. I don't think there's much difference between any of the 3.
Mm-hmm. And I think one thing that Bo Nix taught us this last go around, and I was a doubter, I'll be the first to admit it, is that in a good situation, and Sean Payton coaching you is a good situation with a decent defense, that he was able to thrive. He did well. We're going to find out over time how well he does, but there's no question he got out of the gates as good as anybody. And so that one taught me a little bit, is the way the game's changing, if you can put everything together with the best skill set. But the differences, at least in the minds of many, is that there is a gap between Cam Ward and Shedeur.
I agree with I agree with Matt. None of us have any idea what the teams think of any of these guys.
They're all throwing smoke screens out.
All we know is that when we look at a guy, we're saying, well, all these guys think they're okay, but in reality, it's what you think of them and what they think of them.
Right. Only takes
what
one.
they think of them.
Well, we saw what the 49ers thought of Trey Lance, did we not?
Yeah, and listen, 50-50 on all first-round quarterbacks. 50-50.
Right.
There's
Even
not
if you look at the
consensus on anybody.
If you look at the number 1 overall pick, it's 50-50.
Absolutely.
And then all the first-round draft picks at that important position, 50-50.
Right.
But the thing is,
that's my point.
Yeah, 100%. I agree with you.
Yeah.
And even though we don't know where they are, I'm actually like, the Trey Lance experiment needs to teach other people lessons.
Yeah.
And they may look at it, and the one criticism they have of Shedeur is improvisational plays and the number of throws past the line of scrimmage. There just weren't a whole hell of a lot of them. That's all they're saying.
Yeah.
And
well, that sounds exactly like Pat Mahomes coming out of college. Same thing.
Dude,
exactly.
they say that Sanders doesn't have a strong arm.
Right. So now
no one said that about Patrick Mahomes.
No, ever.
No.
Bro, have you watched Shedeur play? You don't think he has a strong arm?
Yeah. They're
not
talking about him driving the ball.
Well, of course, not compared to Mahomes, of course.
No, I'm saying even compared to Cam Ward, even compared to other quarterbacks in the NFL.
I was
like
saying
an NFL quality quarterback, they're saying he doesn't have a strong enough arm.
Right.
Okay,
And that,
well,
look, like we said, they could be
this
all
is the same thing about Brock Purdy.
I was just going to say, and they said the same thing about Purdy. That's why he's the 7th pick.
Well, everyone
it's just
was
so
wrong.
dumb. It's so dumb. All these like draft guys. Oh, he can't do this. He can't do that.
Oh my God.
Meanwhile, Bo Nix goes out and has 29 touchdown passes as a rookie.
Well,
and here's another thing too. You were saying like it's he got in the right situation and he got in the right coach. And you know what? I think there's something to that. There's no doubt.
Yes.
But at the end of the day, your talent shines. So
but you have to be in a good situation.
And I've been the one. Listen, I've been the one who's been trying to protect Trevor a little bit, saying they need to put pieces around him.
Yeah.
He has not played as well as he should have played. He should have played better than 60 touchdowns and 68 turnovers.
I've been making that point.
Right.
So
that's kind of what I'm saying is at the end of the day, your talent shines out. Bo Nix's talent shined out at the end of the day.
But Coach Peterson's level of where
Zach
he's coaching
Wilson's did not. Trey Lance's did not.
Yeah. Okay. You have Brock Purdy and
Brock
Tom
Purdy's
Brady as two examples over a 20-year period of guys that were 6th round or worse. You could throw Tony Romo in there. He was an undrafted.
And let's hold off on Brock Purdy's career being like a Hall of Fame career.
Right. So
How about Dak?
You know what's going
Dak's
on?
a 4th rounder.
Right. That's what I'm saying. A 4th rounder.
You know what's going on?
Played very well.
You know what's going on right here? The same thing is going on
in those
right
rooms.
on down the road.
Yes,
that's right.
And
Right on down the road over here at
Alltel.
What is it? Everbank Stadium.
Yeah, Everbank Stadium. But
100% yes. Yeah. Yes. There's personnel guys screaming at coaches screaming at scouts. Yes.
And it's a 100% guessing game.
Yes.
As much as you try and project, you can't truly know from one level.
You finally come to my side.
No, I'm not, actually. You were all over the map.
I know we've kind of gone way off the rails here.
Yeah.
But I think I might have told you the story that I'm sitting and watching highlight tape on a guy with all the scouts and everybody in there.
Mm-hmm.
And Clancy Pendergast, who was my guy, is coaching one of the guys, a safety, at USC.
Yeah.
And I said, listen, Clancy knows what a football player is. This kid is going to play in the league. He ended up playing, I can't even remember his name, but he ended up playing for about 7 years.
Right.
And one of the scouts says, the guy can't play. I turned around. I said, are you kidding me? The guy's right there coaching him. He says the guy can play in the league.
And he's
what are we doing? The same thing we're talking about right now.
Right. And he's seen enough good football players to know.
Yeah, I know he knew that the guy could play. It was the same.
Right, and here's the best part is in those 32 buildings around the country, if you think like we're getting after it now, it gets heated in
Absolutely.
those buildings.
I'm telling you, that's exactly what it was.
But also,
my wording was different than what I just used right there.
Sure.
But also know this, ladies and gentlemen, as we wrap this part of it up, and then we'll actually get to some of the draft choices. But know this. There are teams in the 21st century that win and win and win and win. And there are teams in the 21st century that lose and lose and lose and lose. And so you better figure it out. Brian Branch went in the 2nd round. Someone figured it out. Kyle Hamilton went way later than he should have. Someone figured it out. The teams that win find those
figure
guys.
it out.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
right.
Let us know what you're thinking. 641-1010. Hit the text line. Designed by Lifetime Enclosures. Jump in the YouTube chat. You want to watch XL Primetime in full. All you got to do is go search it in YouTube and go back and take it all in.
Go full throttle for a photo finish.
Look at this. Whoa!
Sunday at Darlington.
Checkered flag is out.
Powered by the Plumbers and Pipe Fitters Local Union 234 and 1010XL.
Your Jacksonville Sharks are back and ready to take the field for the 15th anniversary season. The Drive for 5 starts Sunday, April 6th as your Sharks take on the Las Vegas Nighthawks. Ask about special ticket pricing for all youth sports teams at jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. 904-621-0700.
Go Sharks!
Prosser here. Sharks football is back. Come celebrate the 15th anniversary season this Sunday, April 6th, as the Sharks take on the Las Vegas Nighthawks in their home opener at the VyStar Veterans Memorial Arena. Already 1-0, the Sharks look to crush Vegas on Pirates and Princesses Night. Have some family fun and break out your best pirate hat or tiara.
We're not but humble pirates.
For tickets and special pricing for youth sports teams, go to jacksharks.com or call 904-621-0700. That's jacksharks.com or 621-0700.
So, you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
Mia here, and let me tell you about one of our area's best resorts, the Sawgrass Marriott Golf Resort and Spa. The Sawgrass Marriott is not only a great destination for a vacation, but it is also a great destination for dining on the Florida's first coast. 1912 Ocean Bar and Rooftop is now open on Ponte Vedra Boulevard, featuring Ponte Vedra's only oceanfront rooftop bar and lounge. Serving finely crafted cocktails and delectable eats, it's open daily from 4 to 10 with complimentary valet parking.
Daly's Dash is not only your Jaguars game day stop, but a great place to grab a meal any day of the week. To honor the Jags and the fans, we've crafted the Duval Sub. The Duval comes with freshly sliced turkey, ham, melted cheddar, and habanero jack cheese, topped with crisp lettuce, fresh tomatoes, and a double portion of our secret sauce, all served on a fresh roll. Come by your local's Daly's Dash today to get your delicious Duval Sub. Daly's is the official convenience store sponsor of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Neck pain, back pain, or headache, Shinatri Chiropractic has 4 locations: Westside, 103rd, Riverside, Arlington, and the Beaches. Acupuncture, dry needling, physical therapy. Relief starts today. Shinatri Chiropractic, 743-6700.
I'm with Greg from Cycles of Jacksonville, and there's so many cool products that are on the line at Cycles of Jacksonville. The showroom is Atlantic and Regency, and we're talking, Greg, you've got from any level of price point, the experienced rider to the inexperienced on-road, off-road.
We've got it. We've got ATVs, we've got motorcycles, we've got scooters, we even have the new Honda boats. We've got something for everyone.
Don't forget about the boat line from Honda. It's all right there, waiting for you. Atlantic and Regency or Cycles of Jacksonville's Facebook page.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 4th, 1974, baseball legend Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth's home run record with 714 by hitting a 3-run homer off Jack Billingham.
Joe C. for Florida Home AC, and now's the time to tune up that heating and AC unit. Take advantage of their $69 seasonal tune-up special. Keep warm in the winter and cool in the summer with Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars.
Hey Jacksonville, Lauren here from Helmets and Heels. When it's time for new tires, look no further than Big Chief Tire. Their experts will help you quickly find the right fit, ensuring a safe and comfortable ride. With quality options, fair prices, and quick installation, you'll be back on the road in no time. Visit WeKeepJacksRollin.com or call 904-932-0950 to schedule your appointment and roll into 2025 with even greater confidence, guaranteed. Big Chief Tire keeps Jacks rolling.
The housing market is as busy as ever on the First Coast. And if you've moved in or moved on, make sure you have a team of trained electricians ready to help. American Electrical can make sure you're up to date electrically and maximize your living experience. Smart home automation services, home theater systems, outdoor and dock lighting, and backup generators. American Electrical can do it all. A team you can trust with highly trained technicians ensuring you have the best living experience. American-Electrical.com, a leader on the First Coast and powered by professionalism.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
All right, the draft. That's on the minds of all of Duval and beyond the 904, that's for sure. We appreciate you hanging out with us, XL Primetime on the Florida Home AC Friday. Bring that rock JJ's way. Plays DJ, gets the records out, the old LPs.
I'm excited about that last segment.
Yeah.
That's what it should be. Well, let's have a little argument going, and then as
because it brings you back to your days.
Absolutely, I'll be right involved in that.
Well, I love that you got to stump for certain guys, and you got to believe in what you believe. But then I also know that you got to land the guys, okay? Because otherwise you sit there and you're spinning wheels and nothing's getting done. And this football team doesn't have that luxury of time. They had to get this thing rolling in a hurry once they fiddled around with keeping Trent past the end of the regular season. Right. They lost about, a good 3 weeks or more when you talk about hiring the entire staff and getting Gladstone here and everything like that. And so that's why Liam said earlier this week, every waking moment, he's been tied to the hip, basically, with Gladstone. And so all these guys got to figure it out. And when we talk about it, and we did our Campo and Joe this morning on the social stream, and hopefully you guys will make plans every Friday to be part of that at 9:25 on Friday mornings. Just put a little reminder in your phone. But the number of positions that they have to attack, and you can come up with any order, and you can change them and say, hey, you're full of crap. It shouldn't be offensive line, defensive line, cornerback. It could be offensive line, wide receiver, defensive line. However you look at this, they need to come out of the first 3 rounds with 4 picks. 4 picks, or they make a move and give up some of that draft capital to get a better player. but they have got to, Coach, make sure they land some talent. Starters, major contributors.
And a lot of times that's what comes down to a pick. When you're at number 5, you're kind of in the middle because, the guys that are really the no-brainers are the guys that are supposedly 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 is right on the edge of that. And to be honest with you, it may be offensive line, defensive line, cornerback, receiver in that order. I don't know.
Right.
But I know that it may not come out that way when the pick is made.
Yeah.
Because when it gets to that pick, if the best guy is not one of those guys, you got a real decision to make. You either back out of there if you can, but if you can't back out, you got about 5 guys in the bucket right there.
Yeah.
You got to take one of those guys, whatever it is.
And
if one of them's not the offensive lineman, you got to take one of the other guys.
Yeah, explain your bucket because I view it 2 ways. The bucket has 2 or 3 of the same position that you like, and then the other bucket has 2 or 3 of the same draft grade, different positions that you like.
Yeah, and again, I don't know what their bucket is like, but it's not anything new. To me, it's what you said the second time. It's 5 or 6 guys at that spot.
Right.
If you have to stay in that spot and there's only one of those guys left, you take them. If there's 3 of those guys left, you got to take one of those guys. If you can't move, you got to take one of them. Well, let's say your number 1 position is offensive line. There isn't an offensive line left in that bucket.
Right.
You either have to get out, but if you can't get out, you got to take one of those guys. You can't go for need. That's where you get into trouble. You can't reach down to number 17 if you're at number 5.
Yeah.
You can't do it. You have to take the guys that you have in there. And buckets have been going on for a long time. They just weren't called buckets.
Right.
And there's probably more analytics involved in it now than there used to be. But everybody has that group of guys at their position that you're picking.
The bucket that I like the most, the one that has 6 in it instead of 5.
Yeah, that's okay.
Okay.
That's okay. It could be 8. I don't know.
You know what the bucket I like the most is?
Yeah.
The one that has offensive linemen in it.
No,
I'm
there's the need guy right there.
I'm making a very
roster.
important happy hour plea. Put 6 in the bucket instead of 5. That's all.
Yeah, and really, to be honest
it just
with you,
went right by.
Yeah. Just make sure you guys get that.
Listen, all I know, that if
go by me,
in that bucket list, if there's 3 linemen that are close, they're going to be in that bucket list.
I understand what you're saying, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I just look at, we talk about analytics and, trading back, and I sit there and look at, how could you not be a GM and look at that roster and say, all right, we got a major problem in the offensive line.
They're looking at it.
Right? I don't think anyone in that building has not looked at it.
I know that. Yeah. But my point then becomes, okay, you've got a top 5 pick, and you've got a major problem on the offensive line. That's pretty much 1 + 1 = 2.
Yeah, but there's major problems in other areas. I'll just give you an example.
But none like that, bro.
Well, this is Ryan Wilson, okay? Ryan Wilson with the first pick. He does a great podcast, CBS Sports. We've had him on a number of times, and he rates his players. And you can come up with whatever logic you have, but here's a guy who lives in the draft world, and he likes to put his rankings just like any of the other ones, PFF. We can go down the line with Daniel Jeremiah and Kuiper and all of them. Anyway, here are his rankings coming out of this past week, basically. Travis Hunter's is overall number 1. Abdul Carter's is overall number 2. Cam Ward is 3 as far as overall prospects. Mason Graham is 4th. And then he's got Tet McMillan 5th. And I thought that was interesting. A lot of people feel like you're crazy if you reach that high for a wide receiver. But he's still evaluating that guy and putting a value on him as the 5th best prospect in the college pool. Right or wrong, that's how he's looking at it.
Yeah. And that's why it's so, I guarantee you this.
Inexact science.
I'll guarantee you that there are 7. You've got, how many mock drafts are they out there?
Oh, my gosh.
There's 100.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's 90 other guys that don't have Tet McMillan at that spot.
Right, and you make one week and you make something different the next week.
Yeah.
But at least it's interesting that here we are, we're closing in. This is about a month out that he put this was the first part of the week and put Tet McMillan up there. Then he went with Kelvin Banks, which is one of the offensive linemen that I like. Yep. You and I, and Coach, I want you to hit yours because you and I brought this up on our Campo and Joe stream earlier today. So I like Tyler Banks. I like him a little bit, maybe even better than Will Campbell, is a guy who's got a ton of starts at Texas, All-American, guy that may be able to be pushed inside. So you've got him along with a couple of other guys, and I say Kelvin Banks being one of the most important ones, but then you got Mimbo, and then you've got other guys that could slide inside that might be a little further or a little later in line in Tyler Booker from Alabama. That's an interior offensive lineman. There's a bunch of possibilities.
Yeah, to me, I just read this to Matt when we were off the air. You know, the guys that I would be happy with any of these guys right here. And I'll just take the offensive lineman.
Yeah, throw them out.
Campbell, Membo, Banks, right on down the line here.
Simmons, I know you have in there.
That's the only ones that I would be
At the top.
happy if they took them with the 5th pick. Now, somebody can say, well, you know, Banks, you're reaching for him. I don't care. I'm like Matt from the standpoint that somewhere along the line, you have to have offensive linemen in that bucket, because that's an area that you definitely need to improve. So I've got other guys in there at other positions, but those 3 are the guys that I would be happy with if they took him. If there was no other people in there but those 3 linemen, I'd be happy with any of those 3.
Kelvin Banks, like almost 4 dozen starts. I think it might even be right around that.
He kind of struggled at the end of last year, though,
but
especially in the playoff.
He's a 315-pounder. And they did look at him as a guy who's a road grader type of run blocker.
Both those games, though, against Arizona State and Ohio State, he was.
Well, let's ask the question, and I'd have to go back and look at this. Same thing we were saying about Will Campbell in some key games.
Yeah, I hear everybody talking about the Florida game. The Florida game, the LSU middle 3, which was their problem the entire year, got crushed. That's not on Will Campbell. So I disagree with the Will Campbell. That's all. It's just it's opinions.
Right.
I think Will Campbell's going to be a very good player in the league.
Yeah,
a very
so
good
do
player.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think Banks is going to be a real good offensive lineman in the league.
Yeah.
I think he's going to play guard.
I think Membo starts at guard for us today.
Okay.
He walks in, he goes to guard, and then whatever happens with Walker Little or the other guy,
Anton Harrison.
Yeah. You got yourself a
I think
tackle.
either of those 3 starts at guard day 1.
That's why I have him in that little packet right there, because I would take any of the 3 at that spot.
I'm just praying that Tate Ratledge and his mullet is somewhere there, late 2nd, early 3rd, and that's a guy interiorly that they would bring in.
But
I would be fine with that.
That's why you have to have him in the bucket, because what if you take Mason Graham? Well, you got to have another bucket somewhere that has the best offensive lineman in it.
I got buckets like spinning around in my head right now. You can't say bucket anymore, because at some point, when you say it, it's not going to have meaning anymore. It's just going to be bucket. It's going to be some random word.
But I like what he's saying, and I like what the texters have been reminded. My favorite bucket has 6 Cobras in it too.
Yeah,
and so
exactly.
I'm with you.
You know what? I
bro.
don't drink, so it went right over my head.
Yeah, I know, but it's my plea to the bartenders out there.
6-pack of Coke. I would agree with you.
Yeah, but they want to give you buckets of 5. I want buckets of 6. Okay, I feel like I could get a better deal.
Those days are long gone.
But anyway, Kelvin Banks is definitely one of the guys to look at. Look inside. Tyler Booker, he may come later. Gray Zabel's the guy that everyone wants to see fall in the first round. Booker's a guy that could be later and still bring a lot of value to the table. Those are the types of guys that I'm looking at.
Zabel, Milam, Conley, Booker. That's the guys I have at the 2nd pick.
Okay.
Honestly, it's a very guard-heavy draft.
Yeah.
There's more guys that will play guard in the league than will play tackle.
Right.
Well, that's why if that is the case, and you have defensive tackle supposedly deep class, guard supposedly interior offensive lineman deeper class, then you do take a great deal of time poring over the possibilities with that 5th pick overall.
Right.
Because you feel like you're going to be able to drop in the other pods.
You
in the
have
other
all
position
these
groups.
you have all these other guys.
Yeah.
I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys here that by different positions.
Which bucket?
That I would be happy.
Yeah.
The first one.
Okay.
Yeah.
First bucket.
Throw just a couple more as far as outside of that position that you still have up there at the top.
Okay. Graham.
Yeah.
If you want a 3 technique that has a chance to be all over the field, that's him. Okay, has he got weaknesses? Everybody got weaknesses.
Yeah,
but he's got the pedigree of some of the better defensive tackles at 3 technique in the league. I also have Grant in there.
I love Kenneth Grant.
Everybody says
he would take him at 5. He says
I wouldn't do that, but I love him.
It depends on who's there. I would be happy with him if we took him, if that's who was there.
See this? I'm a lunatic for saying Shedeur Sanders is the 2nd overall player. He says he'd take Grant at 5, and everybody's happy with that. No problem.
Yeah, I don't think everyone is.
When you're an NFL coach, you can say whatever you want.
That's right.
When you're just an idiot, you can't say things like that.
All I know
But
is...
I don't think everyone is happy. I just told him I wasn't happy with that.
Right, but you weren't jumping on him like you were jumping on me.
It's out of respect for the camp.
Right, that's what I'm saying. The NFL coach says it's
But
fine.
I have Grant in there only because need has to get in there
It has to enter the equation.
If all these other guys are gone. What if all 3 of those linemen are gone? Do you go down and get Zabel?
Yeah. No.
In a second, when you think he's a second-round guy?
No, you don't.
No. But if you think Grant's a first-round guy and he's the last one there, and it's a defensive lineman, and you don't want to take the receiver, you take the best guy there. And Grant, let me tell you something. One-on-one, he's the best one in there.
Yeah.
He's
Over
going to whip
Walter
anybody.
Nolan, which I like.
Plus, I like the fact that he's a true 1. That's what I like.
Yeah. Oh, he is.
Exactly.
He's going to be 340 pounds.
He's going to whip anybody up front.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah,
doubt
he's gonna-
about that.
he's
Now, he's
gonna-
not quite as lateral. If you're looking for a 3 technique.
As they say, Coach, he's going to be a problem.
You're looking for Nolan, and you're looking for Graham if you're looking
at the
for a
3.
3 technique.
Yeah.
If you're looking for a guy that's going to clog up the middle, John Henderson.
Yeah, well,
Grant's the guy.
this team doesn't have a 1.
Right.
I mean, you
They
can say
don't. They
Devon
have-
Hamilton, but they don't have a 1. I got news for you.
No, yeah. I've been saying it, being very consistent, that the interior defensive line, if you're going to talk about improving it, that 1 technique needs to be looked at more than the 3, because you have 2 guys right now in Mason Smith and Eric Armstead, at least for a year, that you are counting on playing that position.
And you said to me,
Yeah.
let me hear some of the other guys that you have in there.
Yeah.
If the 3 offensive linemen are there, I'm probably taking one of those offensive linemen. But if they're not
You
there,
better.
I'm going to the next position that has the best players in it.
Right.
That's all I'm saying.
Right. And
So I'm looking at guys like Genty. What if they took Genty?
No.
You don't like it.
No.
Neither do I, except he's
I don't
a special
either, but I'll
cat.
tell you what. Yeah, I don't either, but that's a rare dude,
You have
man.
not fixed your line.
I
No,
know.
absolutely.
Taylor Dahl asked that today in the crossover, and I was kind of like,
That's why Zabel and some of these other guys are there in the second pick. Because if you take one of these other guys, you got to take the next, whatever it is. If that's who you need,
You
take
fix
them
your
if they're-
line, and Bucky Irvin runs behind him.
Yeah.
Which is what
I
he
agree.
did in the
I
Liam
agree.
Cohen.
I
offense.
agree.
Yeah.
I don't disagree with that, but let's be very clear here. Bucky Irvin is not Saquon Barkley.
No.
And if you think Ashton Genty is Saquon Barkley, that's certainly a conversation you got to have at that table where everybody's
And they're
yelling at each
having
other.
it right now,
Sure,
I
yeah.
promise you, because to win in the league, you have to have playmakers. Well, the definition of a playmaker, you don't know if you're getting one, but you make decisions based on that.
Right.
If you think he's special, what makes a playmaker is consistency.
Yeah.
If there's consistency in the league, like Josh Allen, Hines Allen,
Yeah.
he's a darn good football player
Right.
today.
But right now,
But he's not special.
right now,
because
Josh
you know-
Allen greater than Josh Hines Allen.
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
We
Just-
need to do the
just-
10
just
take
a
on
little
that.
bit. Just a little bit.
Just a little. We need to do the 10 take, at least on this part right here.
Okay.
Now, Joe C's 10-10 take. Slow smoked and served up by Sonny's Barbecue. Local pitmaster since 68.
They both wore 41, but Josh Allen greater than Josh Hines Allen. All right, so Sonny's, you can always count on a great meal. Consistency is king, and they want to make sure they smoke it slow and serve it fast. So drop by any one of your area Sonny's. But just going back to the Ashton Jenney discussion, and if you think he's Saquon Barkley, you get him, and Bucky Irving and all this kind of stuff. Let me just remind everybody that Bucky Irvin ran behind a very good offensive line and was successful. Had a good quarterback and good receivers. All of it came together. Philadelphia, Saquon Barkley ran behind a killer offensive line with the likes of Cam Jurgens, Landon Dickerson. You can go down the line with Lane Johnson and every other talented son of a gun they had wearing that eagle green, including Mekhi Becton, who had a rebirth of sorts. He ran behind men. And so whatever you do, Fix the guys up front before you worry about getting another guy in your running back room. That's the 10-10 take. They've got Tank Bigsby and Travis Etienne. They will look a hell of a lot better or more productive more often with a better offensive line. That's it. They got to have that over everything else. You can't fall into the Genty trap, especially if you've been going. Oh, he's even going off of his guard just to get Genty.
No. You want me to respond to your take? And if we're just talking about that, I see 2 fumblers.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly,
I don't see the ball popping out a ton, especially if they weren't getting hit less than 2 yards past the line of scrimmage on average.
I see 2 guys that don't move the pile.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of what I see right now with those 2.
Yeah, I see,
and it might be because the pile's getting pushed back into them.
Yeah, there's no question.
And I'm fine with you saying that. I don't have a problem with that. All I'm saying is you're talking about a running back, and I'm not saying draft. I'm just saying around the table there's going to be this conversation, and it's going to be heated. You're talking about a guy whose yards after first contact last year, after first contact, the yards he ran for were more than anyone in college football. Total yards.
Yeah, that's a Ruthian-type stat, but it was in college. All right, we'll get it going in the 3 o'clock hour. A little more draft talk. Coach is hanging out with us. Joe C., Matty Hayes, JJ. It's a Florida Home AC Friday.
Your home team's radio home.
To the 25, to the 20, to the 15, to the 10, to the 5. Touchdown!
1010XL, home of the Jaguars.
At Diamonds Direct, our experts go the extra mile to ensure you have the tools to say I do with absolute confidence. Our promise to you is a completely risk-free shopping experience rooted in transparency, education, and integrity. No pressure, no intimidation, just clarity and confidence in your purchase. But we're about more than just price. Everything is backed by our exclusive guarantees. Put our tools to the test against any competitor, and our expert staff will ensure you get the very best overall value and unforgettable experience. Learn more at diamondsdirect.com. Diamonds Direct, your love, our passion.
Hey, Jacksonville, I'm sure by now you've seen our bright green GFL trucks and containers throughout the greater Jacksonville area. We are an industry leader in solid waste and would love the opportunity to earn your business. We are committed to customer service, reliability, and have unwavering focus on safety. Whether commercial or construction, let us haul your waste away. Call 904-760-5880 to get a quote today. GFL, green for life.
This is Mike Lynch, PGA Golf Professional. Take it from me. If you're dealing with an orthopedic issue, talk to the doctors at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where you're treated like a pro.
This is Dr. Kevin Murphy with Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, where athletes are treated like pros. Thanks to all of you who have allowed us to be part of your recovery. Call us at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists if you ever have a need.
Relieve pain and get back to life. Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the 50 United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsored administrator, Everbank N.A.
Everyone seems to be in a time crunch these days. Well, don't forget you can always count on the cold case at Daly's. Always convenient, always cold. Whether it's the king of beers, Natty Light, Stella, or Cigar City, or Goose Island, or Bud Light Seltzer, dash into Daly's and grab one to go.
Get to know positions and players. The 1010XL Ultimate Draft Guide is brought to you by Blue Haven Pools, the #1 pool builder in Jacksonville. Follow rankings and roundtables as the draft takes shape. Go to 1010XL.com/2025 draft guide to get yours.
Trying to figure pricing at most AC companies is like listening to an auctioneer.
Who wants an AC tune-up? Do I hear $3.99? How about $2.99? No, let's drop it. $79? Do we have a deal? Going once, going twice? Sold!
Not at Duck Duck Air Conditioning. We make it easy. We're offering a free AC inspection. No gimmicks, no fine print, just a completely free checkup from our highly trained techs to make sure your AC is ready for summer. Call 904-862-6769 now to schedule. Duck Duck Air Conditioning, because free is better than bidding. Any required repairs are not included in the inspection.
Spring and summer are coming. Will your pool deck be ready? Don't Slip Deck Coatings of Jacksonville has you covered. Their multi-layered slip-resistant coatings come in a variety of colors, adding safety, durability, and style to your outdoor spaces. Plus, they offer slip-resistant solutions for inside your home, too. Long-lasting, affordable, and built to protect your family. Don't wait. Call today for a free quote. 904-466-1839. And follow Don't Slip Jacks on Facebook and Instagram.
What could you do with an extra $75,000 right now, or even a couple $100,000? If you own a home, you can get that money in less than a week with Loan Pronto. Hey, Prosser here. Loan Pronto is the leader in quickly converting your home equity into cold hard cash, so you can pay off all your credit cards or start that home remodel. Loan Pronto has several easy options to let you access the cash from your home. There's virtually no paperwork, no cumbersome process, no junk fees, often no appraisals. Listen, the average homeowner now has over $300,000 in equity. That's your money. Use it. One client got $150,000 out and paid off all their credit cards, 2 car loans, and a personal loan, cutting their monthly expenses by $1,500. You can get approved in as little as 1 day, so act now with no hard credit pull up front. LoanPronto.com or 904-999-1508. Get the money you need for anything at 904-999-1508 or just go to LoanPronto.com. Equal housing lender, NMLS 166171, subject to lender approval, NMLSconsumeraccess.org.
The flagship station of the Jaguars, WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach, WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
4 guys, want a golf course fairway quality lawn? TopDressing.com just landed in Jacksonville with the golf course secret for St. Augustine grass homeowners. A patented process that aerates and turns your turf into a fairway stunner. Serious golf course technology, but in your yard. Less water, tighter cuts, total neighborhood domination. No one else scores a perfect 10 lawn. Hit TopDressing.com now. You will own the block. Top dress your yard like the pros with TopDressing.com.
Beat the spring cleaning rush with big savings and priority booking by calling our heroes at Zero Res. This month, get Zero Resified from Jacksonville's #1 carpet cleaner. You'll get 25% off all cleaning services. That's right, 25% off. Check out 8,000 raving customer reviews if you don't believe me online. Call them, 904-287-5727, or visit their website, ZeroResJacksonville.com. Zero Res, spell it forwards or backwards. It's the right way to clean.
Zero Res. Have you got concrete or asphalt rubble piling up? Arcosa Crushed Concrete will pay you for it and recycle it. They're just minutes from Everbank Stadium on Talleyrand. Call Arcosa Crushed Concrete and get paid for what you don't need. ArcosaCrushedConcrete.com.
I'm Max Fink with your 1010XL Southeast Orthopedic Specialist local sports update. The Magic beat the Washington Wizards 109-97 up in D.C. last night, completing the season sweep on the Wizards. Paolo Banchero's impressive scoring season continues as he dominated with 33 points and 18 rebounds. Paolo Banchero broke down what the Magic's key is to winning close games that come down to the fourth quarter.
I think our defense, getting stops and then, converting on the offensive end. We know that, in order for us to win games, our defense is going to have to be what carries us. So I think we're able to just get stops, kind of turn off some of their guys that were going, get a win.
The Magic have a big matchup with the Hawks on Tuesday with big seed implications as the Magic are currently the 7th seed in the East and the Hawks at the 8th. It's 84 degrees at 3:03. Time and temp brought to you by Bueller Air and Plumbing. Stay cooler with Bueller.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
Talking about Shador. 3 o'clock hour, it is here, a Friday. Most of you have already checked out. You may still be working, but you've checked out. I don't mind. I don't mind it. It happens. But we're happy you didn't check out from us. You may have said, you know what, I've done every bit of work I can do for this week. My 40 hours is complete. But if you keep it on 1010XL, we totally appreciate that. XL Primetime, Joe C. Matty Hayes, you can check out his stuff at USA Today Sports. Big Searcy has the day off, but Coach Campo is working overtime. He and I did a Campo and Joe stream show earlier today. We'll do it Fridays at 9:25 in honor of 92.5 FM. So make sure you make a note and you can tune into that and check it out. We were talking a bunch of draft, and we'll be talking some more draft as we go along in the 3 o'clock hour before we are done. We got to get back to the Final Four. Got a little perfecto related to the Final Four.
Nice.
But first, let's hit to that right now, JJ.
That just happened. Brought to you by Florida Home AC, the official air conditioning partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
So the Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter Pro Day is going on right now.
Yeah.
And apparently Shedeur Sanders is throwing some nice deep balls. And Travis Hunter's running around as a receiver without gloves on. Old school.
Yeah,
Going
I love
old
it.
school. It's both look good. I don't see any. These are like literally up to the minute highlights. I don't see 40 times for either one of them. But they say both look very good, look in great shape. Sanders, on one throw, Sanders threw a beautiful touch pass to the right sideline. Scouts were in awe, apparently.
Brian Dable, one of the guys that
Some of his throws were slightly wobbly.
So they were either in awe or they were wobbly. One of the two. Actually, probably both. But the analysis, that right there is what you get from a pro day analysis. That's why Brian Dable, coach of the Giants, said, you know what? Pass.
So
I'm not
here's Shedeur's measurements.
6'2".
6'1", 4", so 6
Okay.
foot 1.5, 212 pounds, 9 3/4 hand, which is good.
Good.
Right?
I'm over the 9-inch mark. Pretty proud.
Arm, it just never ends, man. Every time.
I got like an unbelievable.
I'm telling you right now, it's literally like clockwork with
I
you.
got an unbelievable
Arm
hand
is
width.
31. Arm is 31. It says 31 4/8, or as we like to say in America, a half.
That's not the metric system.
And then there's the one I love the best. It's wingspan, but they always say wing.
Yeah.
His wing.
Yeah.
His wing is 76 and 6/8. Dion apparently was spending a lot of time speaking to Cleveland Browns owner Jimmy Haslam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Jimmy's screwed up that quarterback position enough. He admitted it earlier this week. Coach, you know a little bit about
Wait,
that.
I got a quote
group
from
up there.
Dion now, too, okay?
And the what?
I have a quote from Dion.
Yeah.
I just spoke to the owner. He was truly delightful. He was truly pleasant. It was charming. It was engaging. It was cool. It was I swear, it's what it's. I'm reading it off the USA Today website. It says it was AIGHT.
That's I. That's in the dictionary.
He's a good guy, and I like him. I think one of those guys is going to be there. In other words, Travis or him.
Well, Dion is a salesman, right, Coach? You know him. You coached him.
Absolutely.
I don't know whether I would say he's a salesman first and foremost, but it is tied for first, whatever the other one is that you want to put up there.
Yeah. He's, and again, neither one of those guys were going to run the 40, and they didn't. So you're going to go on what you see on film.
Nobody's running the 40. Genty didn't run the 40 either.
Yeah, there's been a lot of not defections in terms of certain drills, but there's been less of them doing. I don't remember who it was, but they suggested going back to X Restrepo down at the U. He ran the 4.8, and someone said, and Leon's told the story 1,000 times. Whenever you think you're not going to be good at this one particular drill, come up with something.
Don't do it. Yeah.
Opt out. And so Restrepo should have opted out of that bad boy. He already ran one little drill, which was a decent time for him. He should have just left it at that.
He cost himself a lot of money there. A lot of money.
Yeah. I heard Tom McManus today on the earlier show.
Meathead.
Was talking.
I love him.
Yeah, he was talking about the fact of what's important and this and that.
Yeah.
He had a great year. Used himself as an example. He had a great year as a junior. Bunch of tackles, 160 tackles. He, a bunch of pressures, this, that, and the other thing. But he ran a 5-flat 40.
Yeah.
And he comes out. He said the next year I had more tackles and more big plays, and I ran another 5-flat 40, and I didn't get drafted. I mean, so guys are looking at that. Restrepo, now he played in the league because when you watch tape, he played football.
He's a ball player.
So a guy like Restrepo, for example, he never should have run at all because he showed that he can play football.
Right, he's
Leave
also
it
a
at
ball
that.
player, right?
Leave it at that.
Right.
Let them make a decision.
Right.
Well, does he run fast? I don't know. Looks like he does.
And we're at
when
the
he's
point
on
now
the
where,
field.
where the NFL doesn't have the power anymore. And the players just say, no, I'm not running.
Yeah,
It's a good way to put it, because now we have spring games that are no longer going to be spring games because they're worried, coaches are in college football, worried that they're going to be stripped of their talent.
Right.
Someone's going to come in and poach them.
Yep.
And now pro days are going to be a pick and choose, an a la carte menu. What are you willing to do for
It's
us
the
to come
age
and
of
see?
player empowerment, baby.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
We used to have it where, back in the day that guys would work out you individually. That's it. With the Cowboys, they all worked. And Larry Brown ran the 45 times. To prove
Got
that he
better
could
each
run
time,
under,
right?
Yeah, so they could prove under 4.5.
Yeah.
So, it's different. It's a different age.
Speaking of age, it floors me that this is not a that or anything like that, but Kelvin Beachum has signed once again with an NFL football team, the Arizona Cardinals, bringing him back, and he has re-signed a one-year deal. He's 35 years old. He's not nearly as old as he may seem to some, because Kelvin Beachum, I feel like he was here in the Jaguars' inaugural year.
Yeah.
That's how long ago it seems like. It wasn't that long ago.
Right.
And they ended up just saying, hey, we'll take a pass. And he's just been playing ball ever since.
Yep.
35 years of age.
Yep.
16 games with a dozen starts, 72% of the offensive snaps in the games that he played. He's just another one of those guys. 7th-round pick, by the way. So we go back to the whole draft talk, and it is truly a coin flip crapshoot industry or exercise. You're going to get some of them right. You're going to get plenty of them wrong. And I don't know what the percentage is, Coach, but you just got to hope you hit somewhere above a third. Is that a good way to say it?
Yeah,
you want to be closer to 50%, of
Yeah,
course.
correct. I would say that's right, because once you get into past the 4th round, you're really talking about flipping a coin on guys. You're taking traits. You're taking, there's position need. You need some guys that can compete, that have certain traits. And you're going to hit on some of those guys, some you're not going to hit on.
Yeah. It's just such a tough exercise, and you're trying to translate everything from what you see on a college football field onto a professional football field, with a lot of things, variables that go into it, who they played with. Kenneth Grant and Mason Graham, I think, are a really good example. One guy looked good or better because of the guy next to him.
Yeah.
And that's why both of those guys are being heralded the way they are, because they stood side by side and were stars on that defensive front.
Right.
And you go down the line with some of the other players that are out there.
Yeah.
Texas is loaded with prospects.
Yes.
How in the world they couldn't figure out a way to beat Georgia either time they faced them? It's just crazy how many good players they had on that side of the ball.
Shador looks good, man.
Mm-hmm.
He looks. I mean, he's throwing against air. He's throwing against air.
Quarterback glove.
He's throwing against air. There's no doubt about it. But Cam Ward looked good throwing against air too when he was at his pro day. He looks sharp. He looks sharp, and he looks very accurate, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and that's one thing you can't hide from at these pro days is accuracy.
Right, but most of them, like we said, everything's scripted. Denny Thompson, our quarterback.
There's no doubt it is, but you also got to be accurate. And it shows when you're not.
Right, but he was in games around 70%, so he is an accurate passer.
Yeah.
But my gosh, man, if you can't do that against the air, you are in trouble.
Correct. But I do go back to what Matt said way back before we got into our discussion.
Mm-hmm.
If the quarterback is even close, you take a chance on him if you need a quarterback.
Yeah.
Because if you don't have one, and again, it's 50-50.
Yeah.
So you don't have them in this day and age. You're not paying them that much. You move on. Go get another one.
Yeah.
But if you pass one that goes to somebody else, that's where you get into trouble.
Well, it's paralyzing from either side.
Right.
Okay. If you get him and he's a bust, it takes you a long time to recover from that. If you let him go and he's a star somewhere else, then you really got to answer a lot of questions to your fan base. Well, what in the H were you thinking or doing? And so there's a lot of risk that goes along with it, which makes teams fall in love.
Yeah.
I say it all the time. Quarterback love make you crazy.
You know what though? But in this day and age, I don't know that it affects you like it used to.
It's not a big
because
deal.
it's not, right.
Do you
And
think
now,
Levis? Do you think Levis is that big a deal?
No, with Levis is, but he's a second rounder. But I think Joe's point is it's a first rounder.
But I mean, he could have gone in the first round.
Yeah, he could have. Right.
I mean, he was
34, I think. Right.
30, yeah.
Well, heck, you could do anything in the top 50 picks. Really, you can.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's more expensive when you do it in the first round.
Right.
More
Right.
expensive the higher you are in the first round.
Right. Right.
But and I'll never forget Donovan Darius saying this when he was with us. He said that when you make a mistake on a player, and you coach Double D, so you know exactly when you make a mistake on a player, it's embarrassing. You got to make up for it. You go back in the draft 1, 2, 3 years later, whatever, and you have to go get another guy because it didn't work out.
Right.
You make a mistake at quarterback, he said it'll take a decade sometimes for you to recover from it. It ain't easy.
But the bigger mistake in my mind is letting him go to somebody else if there's any chance at all that the guy's got is good enough.
Why,
I mean the Broncos
that's why quarterback love make you crazy.
The Broncos paid a ton of money for Russ.
Yeah.
Got rid of him.
Yeah.
Still paying some of his salary. Picked Bo Nix up, and Bo Nix has 34 total touchdowns in his first season.
Yeah.
So no, my point is that it can be done now. It can be done now because quarterbacks are so more advanced as far as their knowledge of the game, their ability to play in the first year. It can be done. I'm not saying run Trevor Lawrence out. All I'm saying is you franchises are now not beholden to keeping these guys because it's got to work like they used to.
But there's a difference, though, when you just paid the guy $275 million with 150 of it guaranteed.
Right. No doubt about it.
That's where you get into the real.
You're
I'm
married
talking about a rookie quarterback.
Right.
Will Levis. I don't care if he's number 34 or number 18.
Goodbye.
See you later.
Right.
Let's get the next guy.
It's a rookie contract, and you didn't have a fifth-year option anyway because he was second-year deal.
Now, if it's Bo Nix and you pass on him and he goes to the Jacksonville and he does what he did,
then you look like an idiot.
Right.
You look like a knucklehead, and now you're in trouble because you may not find one that's close to him.
The 2021 first round is proof enough. 1/5 of the first rounders are still with their team. 4/5 are gone. Now they also
5/5 aren't any good.
They cut the cord because they weren't. And by the way, that's also another lesson. Okay,
right.
Let's listen to this. Let's listen to what we're saying here.
Right.
4/5 of it was a bad decision.
Right.
Which makes people. And Justin Fields still, I don't think you would call it a bad decision, but they didn't stick with it. They just said, let's just move on. Let's cut the cord.
That's why I was kind of saying in this day and age, patience is not a virtue.
Right. I think you can absolutely make an argument 100%. And look, you guys call me his homer all the time. You could absolutely make a statement that all 5 of those guys didn't work. All 5 of them.
Yeah. The one that's still here has had a playoff run and a playoff win.
Yeah.
And then there's just been so much dismal stuff around him.
Yeah.
And so now, he's got to prove that he's not.
You cannot like say, okay, 7 games overshadows 4 seasons. You can't.
Well, no.
You just
Look,
can't,
I've been one of the loud voices. He is responsible for improving this football team. He doesn't need a leader. He needs to be a leader. Yeah. Right. And so we'll see where it goes with this new regime.
THE, all caps.
Leader.
Yes.
He's got the C on the jersey. That's what he needs to be.
Yes.
He's got to be Troy Aikman on that sideline.
Yep.
It's XL Prime Time.
I agree with you.
1010XL is multimedia. Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube.
You can't buy this kind of media exposure.
1010XL, maximum media exposure.
The magical basketball ride continues for Gators fans this weekend, and now you can remember all 34 Gators wins with a full-size Season to Remember basketball for only $149.95, featuring scores of every game along with embossed logos, championship history, and more on panels of the ball. Order now. Get one of only 5,000 licensed balls. Call 800-345-2868, 800-345-2868, or visit nikcosports.com.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at StanleyPoolsFL.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
I'm Rick Julius, a partner at Cordell & Cordell. Divorce is more than just a legal process. It's a life-changing event that can impact your future, finances, and your relationship with your children. You've worked hard to build a life that you're proud of, and you deserve a legal partner who will work just as hard to protect it.
Offices in Jacksonville. Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell and Cordell's attorneys. Lisa Cargis, Florida resident partner. Rick Julius, licensed in Pennsylvania only. Online at CordellCordell.com.
Rick Ballou for Carlson Dental. You know, I've been telling you this for quite some time because it's true. I hate going to the dentist, or at least I used to hate going to the dentist. I had total anxiety, and then I tried sedation. Light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation as well for cavities and root canals. Folks, it's an incredible experience. So don't be nervous. Don't be scared. Go to CarlsonDentalGroup.com. That's CarlsonDentalGroup.com for all of your dental needs.
Hey, I'm Tony from Tony D's Pizza. People ask me all day long, is it the water that makes the difference? Well, yes and no. Even water can't make a good pizza. It's the ingredients, too. The best tomatoes, the best flour, and the best cheese. Oh, and a lot of love. Tony D's New York Pizza, Bay Meadows and 295.
You know the players, so you pick them.
How many majors can the guy win? It's fantasy golf at the Masters. Win $1,000 of jewelry from Beard's Diamonds.
Enter at 1010XL.com.
Teed up by Pella Windows and Doors.
Keeping kids active is a full-time job for parents. Look no further, though, than I-9 Sports, covering Duval, St. John's, and Clay to get your youngster in the game. Spring and summer registration open right now for flag football, soccer, t-ball, and basketball. Plus, all new girls volleyball at Duval Charter Bay Meadows. I-9 Sports with fields and gyms all over 3 counties. And the best thing is I-9 Sports offers sports year-round so kids can always find a sport to play. i9sports.com. Enter 1010 in the promo code.
Bueller. Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey man, what's that noise?
Do you hear it too? You can hear it, right?
Yeah, it's your air conditioner. It's like a grinding or a rattling.
And it's getting on your nerves, right? Like it's eating at your brain and you can't think straight? But it just keeps grinding and squeaking and taunting and nagging. You're not good enough. You're a failure. Why can't you be more like your sister, the lawyer?
Yeah, I don't hear that last part so much.
Yeah, but it's not cool, right, Jason?
It could definitely be cooler. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we can totally repair whatever that noise is and get your AC working smoothly and silently. We fix these things all the time.
So I won't be a failure?
Life should be enjoyed. If some irritating, broken air conditioner is making you crazy, you could miss it.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Instant Keys. You don't have to go to the dealer. Instant Keys comes to you. Call 904-722-1111.
Instant Keys saves the day if you've lost or broken keys. They can program new keys and remotes for nearly every make and model of vehicle at a fraction of the dealership cost. Fast, honest, and reliable locksmith service. Call Instant Keys, 722-1111.
Do you know someone looking for a fun and rewarding summer job? Join the YMCA team, gain valuable experience, and make a difference in kids' lives. Turn your passion for this community into a fulfilling career at the First Coast YMCA. Now hiring camp counselors, lifeguards, childcare leaders, and membership experience team. Every single person on the dedicated YMCA staff plays a role in making the Y a welcoming and vital resource for our community. Find your career at the Y at fcymca.org.
Equal opportunity employer.
You'll always feel good when you send someone a Kuhn Flowers, floral, or plant arrangement. This is Max Fink with 1010XL, and no matter what the reason, Kuhn Flowers has always come through for me. Order online at KuhnFlowers.com.
With 50 years of fabrication expertise in towing products, the family at Cannons of Jacksonville can repair or install precisely what you need to tow with confidence. Visit cannonsofjacks.com, where quality and customer satisfaction collide.
Ackerman Cancer Center, celebrating 10 years of excellence in cancer screening, diagnosis, and treatment. Always accepting new patients and 99% of all insurances. Call now to schedule a new consultation within 48 hours. Learn more at ackermancancercenter.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. This is XL Primetime, brought to you by Florida Home AC. Now that's cool on 1010XL.
324, beautiful Friday afternoon. Coach Campo hanging out with us. Matt Hayes, Joe C, JJ, Florida Home AC Friday. You can definitely bring some song suggestions JJ's way, get fired up for the
great
rock
one,
and roll.
JJ. Dave, you
on a
love
Friday.
Old Kiss, right?
Yeah, heck yeah. I mean, I'm all right with it. But, you know, it's a
Sure.
little young for me, but
Sure.
hey, listen, I'm one of those guys that can still relate.
There's no doubt
At
in my mind.
77, I think I could, relate with these young guys. And Kiss is a little, they're in the middle. They're not my era, but they're in the middle somewhere.
That's awesome.
Listen, I feel good about today because I feel like I'm right back in the draft room.
Right?
It gets you fired up. It really does. And you want to make sure that you take the big swing and connect.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
Because not connecting is no bueno.
Yeah.
And you just want to make sure that whoever you do bring in, that they're going to immediately be able to help this football.
It's like those torpedo bats. They help you if you get the bat on the ball. If you don't get the bat on the ball, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it's so funny, though. The technology in baseball and in golf, in some ways, they're closer than maybe we realize, because you don't have to hit the center of the club nearly as much as you used to.
Yeah.
And you don't have to hit the center of the bat nearly as much as you used to.
Exactly.
That ball could get a little launch angle way higher than you expect and still leave the yard.
Well, analytics are the nature of everything, even these draft picks that we're talking about, that we have no idea what these guys do with analytics and all that, you know. So
I don't think they have any idea what they do with analytics.
Who knows?
It's funny, analytics, I think, have served them well. That most teams, if they're smart with it, it's not the eye test still should win most often, but then you need to start looking at certain things. Chris Harry told Hayes and Hacker a great story the other day. He said he tweeted out something that, why did Todd Golden make a decision to tell Thomas Houck to foul and put him on the line? And it was an 80% free throw shooter or whatever.
Yeah.
And he put it out there, and he said a coach immediately texted him. And he said he's 57% on the front end of 1-on-1.
There you go. And
that's analytics.
Right. And this guy that the Jaguars just hired from L.A.
They used to call that scouting, Joe, not really analytics.
Well, but no, that's an analytic term.
Statistics.
Trust me, that is because
let me just tell you something about analytics real quick, okay? Just real quick. Analytics. Remember when the whole analytics? Doug Peterson loves to go for it on 4th and 1. I don't care if he loves to. If you don't have an offensive line that can't get a push, it doesn't matter if you love to go for it on 4th and 1.
I get that.
Who cares?
Yeah.
Okay, I get that.
Right. So that's, you can say analytics all you want. I'll take a good offensive line. Okay?
All I'm trying to say is that the statistic is he's 80% free throw shooter.
Yeah.
The analytics is he's X on the front end of 1-on-1.
They break it down further. That's why I said these buckets that they're talking about, they may be using a little more analytics than the gut check and some statistics.
That's scouting, too. I'm not so sure that's analytics.
No, analytics is just taking statistics and using them.
Right.
So, him being a 58% free throw shooter on the front end of a 1-on-1 is still them just using a statistic.
Right, but it's situational. That's the whole thing. That's analytics, metrics, however you want. You can come up with any of the terms that they're using, but situational awareness. What happens in this particular situation?
And also, what's involved in it is you look at the pitchers now in Major League Baseball, how to throw a pitch. They actually look at
spin rate.
It's generated
how fast the ball's spinning
and all that. That's different. That's not really statistics.
They also look at
that's analytics
and everything. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
That's how you do that, Joe. That's analytics.
That's what?
That's analytics.
I guess. Yeah, I think they're all of them are. That's for sure. All right. So let's get back to the analytics of what we've been talking about.
It's really just analyzing. That's what analytics is. You're
analyzing data.
So I analyzed that the offensive line sucks. So that's really what,
I don't even think you need a metric or a stat.
Right. Right. That's kind of
all you need is the eye test on that one.
The line I've had is pretty accurate. Can't get a 3rd and 1. Can't stop a 3rd and 1.
Right.
I don't need to see analytics tell me that.
Bro. A lot of L's.
But Dougie going for it on 4th down, it was more stubborn than it was anything else.
Yeah, I think so.
Especially when you look at some key moments on one side of the field, which was one of the worst decisions he made, which right around his 35-yard line.
Yeah.
You can't do that.
No.
And I do think that there were moments of convenience. He just did what he always was given credit for doing, being aggressive on 4th down.
Right.
There were plenty of other guys that were aggressive on 4th down.
Cost the guy out at San Diego his job.
Brandon Staley.
Yeah.
He kept going for it, and he even missed a playoff position that was locked up with a tie ball game.
Right.
And he still decided to go for it like an idiot.
Yep.
And ended up losing his job a couple years after that.
Yep.
Yeah. So it can happen in a hurry, that's for sure. So analytics-wise, they just need to say, hey, what's our conversion rate on third down? How many times are we making them? How many times are we stopping people and getting them off the field and punting the football or getting the football back in our hands? Did you take a look at the kickoff rule, Coach? Did you like the new change that they made as far as the
they're trying to get
line?
more. They're trying to get more returns, which I think is okay because I think the collisions are a lot less now than they were.
Mm-hmm.
But, teams were not taking a chance. They were kicking the ball into the end zone. There were a lot of touchbacks. They would just bring the ball. Well, they're moving it out a little bit.
Right.
And you talk about statistics and analytics.
Mm-hmm.
The closer you start to the next goal line, the better chance, especially with field goals or kickers today.
Mm-hmm.
If you start on the 35-yard line, you're in pretty good shape. You got a chance to get 3 points without any problem.
I feel like Carl Spackler from Caddyshack right now. Check me if I'm wrong, Sandy, but if you move it to 35 and they start bring the ball out more, that's going to lead to more injuries, which was the very reason you changed in the first place.
Well, what they're trying to do is encourage returns in that little area as opposed to the
it's
kick.
not as collision. The collisions aren't as
right. They're not as
not
big, but they
physical.
want the returns.
Yes.
So you want the ball kicked to like the 5.
Well, yeah, they want returns because, like I told you guys before,
They want entertainment.
the dynamic, the actual phrasing of the quote dynamic kickoff was one of the worst things you could ever name it because there was nothing dynamic about it.
Right, and
it
that
sucked.
And the collective bargaining agreement guys want returners to make money. They the player association got more guys to make money. And that's a return.
So this is what they would say to Matt. This is their excuse because yes, originally they were like, "Oh, it's for safety," when really we know it was because the kickoff's boring and they want to make it more exciting. They don't actually care about injuries. And now they're saying to Matt's point, they're like, "Oh, well, this is going to have less punts." And we all know that punts cause the most injuries.
Right,
so like
course.
that's their new I read that in the ESPN article that came out right away. It was like, "Hey guys, whatever people like Matt are saying, no, they're total liars.
Yeah.
What you're
We
saying
really
is
care
it's
about
profit,
injuries.
is what
We're
it
getting
is.
rid of punts." Yeah.
They never ever will care about injuries as much as they care about the
what they
bottom line.
talk about the tush
And
push, the
entertainment.
tush push being a safety issue. There's never been an injury
Exactly.
on a tush push.
Perfect point, Coach. It's because it's boring.
You know why
That's
I don't
why they
like
wanna
the
get
tush
rid of
push,
it.
though? The reason I don't like the tush push, I think there's something from a defensive standpoint to lining up and running a regular quarterback sneak, not somebody pushing you from behind.
Sure. Right.
Or when you hit somebody and they get a guy pushing and you get another 7
Make it
or 8
even.
yards, take that away.
Right.
Give it to them where they get the hit. And
Make
go
it
down.
even.
That's
Make
it.
it even.
Yeah, but you know why they're going to change it? They're going to change it because there's no drama to it. It works 90-something percent of the time.
That's my point.
They
You
need
know,
more
borderline-
drama. They need more losses is what they need.
Yeah, exactly.
It cannot be an automatic. And you can't have this is the one that got me. Jalen Hurts has as many touchdowns as Shady McCoy.
Yeah.
I'd much rather watch Shady McCoy run the football than
Exactly.
Jalen flipping Hurts do what he did.
Yeah.
And
That's a crazy stat.
It really is. And what was the other part of it? It's just like they had to table that bad boy.
Yeah.
They had 16 votes. They said, we'll just wait and we'll reconvene and meet again later. Give me a break.
They need a better argument
Yeah.
if they're going to stop it. They need a better argument.
You just need a quarterback who's tough enough to get pushed wherever he's got to go.
Well, it flies in the face.
His feet are not even on the ground. More than 70% of they're not even on the ground.
Yeah.
Like in the Super Bowl, his feet were not
crowd
on the
surfing.
ground in that touchdown.
It's beautiful. It's beautiful. All right, XL Primetime. We'll wrap it up with just a couple more thoughts on the Final Four, Florida versus Auburn. I already heard from War Eagle, who's on their way over to the plains of Auburn to watch it amongst the other Auburn fans. So I know you all will have fun with that. But we'll look at that game. And then, of course, Houston and Duke coming up before we're done.
1010XL, proud to live in Duval.
Jags fans, here's your chance to score a trip to Green Bay for round 1 of draft night. Through the Everbank Draft Night Experience Sweepstakes, one lucky winner and a guest will be there live and in person to see the Jaguars make their first pick. To enter, visit everbank.com/draft by April 4th. That's everbank.com/draft. No purchase necessary to enter or win. Open to legal residents of the United States and D.C. 18 and older. Entry period from 3/3/25 to 4/4/25. For official rules, prize description, odds of winning, and other details, visit everbank.com/draft. Sponsor and administrator, Everbank N.A.
Frank Franzi here for Bono's Pit Barbecue. Bono's has been serving Jacksonville's best barbecue for over 75 years. And now, catch this. Bono's new limited time offer features an Atlantic fried cod platter with 2 pieces of mouth-watering fried cod and 1 southern side for $15.49, or a fried cod sandwich with 1 southern side for $12.99. You can't beat that deal. And after 1 bite, you'll be hooked. So you better hurry in. The fried cod platter right now at Bono's. And remember, if you don't see a pit, it ain't legit.
Poker players, the Run Good Poker Series is coming to Best Bet Jacksonville from April 24th to May 4th with 10 poker events, including the $1,200 main event, hosting a $300,000 guaranteed prize pool, and event number 1, a $400 no-limit hold'em tourney with a $200,000 guarantee. The action is non-stop. 1 in, win your seat through satellite starting April 4th at Best Bet Jacksonville. For all the Run Good Series structures and details, visit bestbetjacks.com. That's bestbetjacks.com.
It's tune-up time, and Florida Home AC, the official AC partner of the Jaguars, wants to partner with you for a cool summer season. Tune up your AC unit right now so it's running at peak performance when you need it most. Just call 777-4300 and order a tune-up for just $59. Keep your unit humming at optimal level. Log on to FloridaHomeAC.com and take advantage of their savings. Keep cool with Florida Home AC. That's 777-4300.
Our slogan, Know Before You Blow, applies to more than just DUI cases. Hi, I'm attorney Lee Lockett of Lockett Law. Battery charges can result in jail time and criminal convictions too, so know before you blow a gasket and hit a loved one or a stranger. Drug crimes like possession of marijuana and cocaine will land you in cuffs too, so know before you blow. In a boating under the influence case, you also have the option to blow or not to blow. So know your options. Know before you blow. Go to knowbeforeyouBlow.com now. Offices Jacksonville.
Thinning or balding hair? Introducing scalp micropigmentation now at IHRS. SMP is a procedure for men and women, looks like your own growing hair, and corrects thinning areas. SMP is perfect for men and women who shave their head and want a full head of hair look. Call IHRS now, 904-777-IHRS, 904-777-4477, or visit hairforme.com today.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On April 4th, 1974, baseball legend Hank Aaron tied Babe Ruth's home run record with 714 by hitting a 3-run homer off Jack Billingham.
Homeowners, listen up. It's time to start fresh in 2025. Prosser here, and Loan Pronto is here to help take control of your finances in 2025 by lowering your house payments and consolidating that nagging debt. Did you know that 9 out of 10 borrowers get a better deal by calling Loan Pronto? Right now, Loan Pronto has some of the most competitive offers for refis, debt consolidation, and purchase loans, starting in the low 5s APR. If your current rate is over 6%, don't settle for paying too much. Even if you're in process with another lender, call Loan Pronto now. Lock in at a lower rate today and close in as little as 2 weeks, often with no appraisal. You can even skip your next 2 house payments. It's fast, easy, and hassle-free. Get your personalized Loan Pronto rate quote instantly with no hard credit pull and no upfront fees. Call now, 904-999-1508, or go to loanpronto.com. That's 904-999-1508. Equal housing lender, NMLS 1661781, subject to lender approval, NMLS, consumeraccess.org.
All right, it's Baloo. Let's get real for a minute. Losing weight isn't exactly easy, especially when your life involves being surrounded by good food at every event imaginable. Believe me, I get it. But thanks to Awaken 180, I'm already down 10 pounds, feeling sharper, more energized, and never hungry. This isn't some juice diet or starving yourself nonsense. I'm eating food that tastes great, even when I'm out on the road. Here's the beauty. Awaken 180 gives you the game plan to handle real-life situations. I've been hitting plenty of events lately, temptation everywhere, and I've managed to stay on track effortlessly. That's huge. 10 pounds down, energy way up, hunger totally controlled. So if you're tired of carrying around extra weight, tired of diets that don't work, it's time to check out Awaken 180. Take it from me, Hacker Dempsey Hayes, basically everyone. It's easy. It works and it's real. Do what we did and choose the solution for weight loss. Online at awaken180weightloss.com.
So,
you finally have some time to yourself. Even if it is just the car ride home, it's you time. And look at you. Do not disturb set before you even got in the car? Impressive. You've earned this moment to just chill and drive. This break is brought to you by Target Zero and the Florida Department of Transportation.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, the cool down with Donovan Air Electric and Plumbing. Keeping Jack's cool since 1987.
All right, my takeaway is let the hype begin. Shedeur Sanders finished his showcase throwing session, according to Eric Gacko, who is a former NFL scout and works for the Senior Bowl, going 58 for 63 with 3 of the 5 incompletions. Clear drops, Eric Gacko says.
Blame it on somebody.
Then went perfect in the 2-minute drill afterward. Awesome performance was the quote.
Yep.
So let the hype begin, because this will, it's like you say all the time. It's a roller coaster ride, okay? Yeah. And it's up and then it's down. And it's up and then it's down. It was down. Everybody's saying he's not even going to get picked. Now all of a sudden it's going to start going back up. And now next week you're going to hear he might go 1 overall. We have no idea what's going. I mean,
I don't think we're going to hear.
My guess is Cam Moore's going 1 overall, but there will be people who will say he's going to go 2, or somebody might trade up and use this pick or use this amount of picks just to get him at 2. There's all kind of stuff that can still happen.
My takeaway is that I don't care what all those other people are saying. I'm with Matt from when he said that it's pretty darn tough to not take a quarterback when there's one that's close.
Fools are born every day.
In the top 5.
Yeah.
What are you saying, Joe? I'm a fool?
I'm looking at Coach when I'm saying that, because he's agreeing with you.
Right, but you got the snake eye at me.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, but I agree. Everybody's saying, well, the Giants are going to take this guy and Cleveland's going to take this guy. I would be shocked if those 2 quarterbacks don't go before number 5.
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Browns, you're sitting there, Joe. Aren't you saying to yourself, who's our quarterback?
You have to be saying that.
Yeah.
And it easily could be a smokescreen.
Yeah.
And Jimmy Haslam saying we blew it, and then letting it out there, and honestly letting Schefter carry the water for you, and Albert Breer. Both of these guys have said over the last week, coming out of the owners' meetings, that they feel like there's less likelihood of both teams taking a quarterback, or one of the 2 teams taking a quarterback. So we do know that it is a lying season, smoke screen filled time of year. But also, like we said, there have been so many good and bad decisions made in the first round that have a quarterback on the draft card.
Right.
And so it will hypnotize you.
Yes.
And make you think that you've got to do it, or like you said, you'll suffer the consequences if you don't. And he's been up and down a lot of people's draft boards. He's not been high, whereas Cam's been consistently up there.
Right.
We'll find out whether they do it or not. I hope like heck one of them does it.
Yeah.
And then that's one more possibility of a Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, or whomever falling in the Jags' lap.
Sure, I mean
that would be ideal.
Right, and we were saying earlier about it's easy to give up on quarterback, easier.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the Falcons gave up on Kirk Cousins after 1 season. They signed him to a large deal. 1 season, they picked a quarterback.
You know what they did? They gave up on him before the season by taking that quarterback.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
And that's an embarrassing situation right there. They guaranteed him over $100 million.
It was like 190, wasn't it?
Not guaranteed, but guaranteed. It was a huge deal.
Huge deal. I know that.
But a lot of guaranteed money, and then went in the draft and drafted in the first round Michael Penix Jr.
Right.
And so I believe they gave up on him before the season started.
You're right. You nailed it. 4 years, 180. So I was close to the total, but the only guarantee was 100. But still,
it's a massive amount of money to be guaranteed.
You're giving up on him after a year, not even a year.
Yeah, and so they bought the insurance policy, which was Michael Penix Jr. And it's so funny, if you add up the amount of dollars that are written in a lot of ways pencil, because it's not all guaranteed, it's about $1 billion guaranteed and about $1 billion lost. With these decisions that they have to ship guys off and take dead money on their cap. It's nuts what they're willing to do.
Yep.
Back to your point, desperate times.
Yep.
They don't wait very long.
Patience. They don't have patience anymore. Yeah. And a lot of that is because what we do.
Mm-hmm.
The media and the fans are not patient about anything.
No.
So it's out there, all of the social media,
we want it.
Things. Everybody, the bottom line for the owners is making money.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you're not doing well or you make those kind of mistakes, it's costing you money.
Yeah.
And so they have to get jettison it and try to get.
You think they really listen to the media and the fans?
Absolutely.
Do you really?
Oh, yeah. Owners.
What percentage?
Well, I don't know what the percentage is, but when you start getting bags over your head and
right, of course,
and guys not coming to the stadium,
of course, at that point,
and then
right.
everybody just screaming on it depends. Like Jerry Jones doesn't listen to anybody because they're getting reeked over the coals over there.
Right.
But
a
lot of them do. A lot of them do.
Should've.
Although he made a decision to get rid of me to bring Parcells in because I had to build a stadium.
Right.
So they listen, believe me.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's not, it's about the bottom line.
All right, I want you two to listen to this. A ukulele. Yeah.
Is this your takeaway?
No, this is just a ukulele.
We're far
Calm
beyond.
everybody down.
Perfecto. Let's see if we can do it. From the Atlantic to the Pacific. Oh! A delicious Mexican lager. Coach is all fired up. I love
That
it.
was as good as JJ's. That was pretty
A
good.
delicious Mexican lager. One more time. Found in Baja, imported by surfers for those who live life anchors up. Let's get to the Final Four. Janai Broome, if he's healthy, we'll find out. But the dude has been balling in the NCAA tournament. He is a big human being. He's one of a number of transfers in their mid-20s that are playing for Auburn right now. Came from Morehead State. So
He's 25, is that right?
I think he is. Janai right now has a double-double in a half twice in the NCAA tournament. Okay, he's already done that. But he is one of 5 SEC players with career double-doubles in NCAA tournaments, okay? We're talking about a small group, SEC players with 5 career double-doubles in the NCAA tournament, okay?
Horford.
Got it. Horford and Noah, one of the two, or maybe even both.
And if he has another one, obviously he's going to set the record.
I got no.
I'm going to go Horford and Noah. How many do you need?
He's players? One of 5.
All right, so Horford, Noah.
Excuse me. One of 4. He's one of 4. So
Shaq?
I only need 3.
Oh.
Horford, Noah, and Shaq. How about that?
Horford, Noah, and
Shaq.
Shaquille O'Neal. I said Horford. That's all I got, really. Not my best sport.
Oh, Coach, no?
I got nothing.
All right, so I have to at least ring the bell for Shaq.
Nice call.
Okay? Shaq, good pull.
Horford or Noah, neither one?
Neither one.
Wow.
Neither one.
Is it the kid
It's hard to get 10 rebounds in college.
It is. Is it the kid from UConn
rebounds.
2 years ago? The 7-footer?
No, SEC.
Oh, SEC. Right. SEC. Let me get one more shot at it.
Give us the school. Oh, what about Anthony Davis?
That's a good one. That's a really good one, actually. AD's a good one.
Joe?
But it could be someone weird like Nazir Muhammad, too.
One of them is really weird. It is. I'm not gonna deny that.
Didn't Arkansas have like Oliver Miller? How about that?
Nope. Another good one.
All right. Who is it?
It is Dan Issel.
Wow.
Ooh.
And then the other one is just out of nowhere, Jeff Moore.
I don't know who either one of those guys are, honestly.
Yeah.
I know Issel, but I don't know more.
Issel was a great player back in
Kentucky, right?
Yeah, back in the 70s. And Jeff Moore was just a guy that was like, he was just a scoring machine, but a rebound machine as well. Anyway, he was the outlier. Shaq and Dan Issel are the 2 big names. And now Janai Broome.
Who you picking? Who are you picking?
I went with, and by the way, you can go to X and you can take a look at me, Maddie, and Big Searcy's selections.
They're Hard Rock gambling picks.
Yeah. John Party put it together with our Hard Rock odds, and I'll just give it to you real quick, JJ, because you got to give us where your buddy is at right now in terms of his chances, like where his mind is right now, his chances to rake in
$16,500.
Yeah. So our parlays that we put together, I took over/under on each game, winner on each game. So did Matt. So did Leon. Mine are a paltry plus 989 according to Hard Rock. Matt's, if you do hit the money line, I think is what he gave you, plus 1880, and Searcy's plus 1138. And so we're all right there, ready to cash, and we'll see. But you guys check it out and let us know who you're picking as well. Real quick, $16,000 is on the line for JJ's
From
buddy.
a $50 bet, I'll make it short. He's not hedging. He's sticking with his Gators.
$50 bet. He picked the Philadelphia Eagles to win the Super Bowl.
At 7-1, he picked the Ohio State Buckeyes to win the national title when there was 4 teams left, and so whenever that was in the basketball season, he took the Gators at 20-1 odds. So all that combined on a $50 bet to win $16,500. He refuses to hedge, and he's rolling with it.
He's such a Gator, and I love it. It's just so beautiful. But that would have been mid-January when he made this decision.
Wow.
Unbelievable.
That's pretty good.
I don't think the Embedded and Shredded has the nerve to do something like that.
Well, but he is.
The 2-minute drill. Service by Cool Cats Heating and Cooling. Locally owned and operated. We're your neighbors. CoolCatsJacks.com.
The coolest cats in town.
Where are you at, Stone-wise? Would you make that bet? And,
I'd be hedging like crazy on that. Absolutely.
Would you ride that bet?
I mean, I'm not smart enough to put myself in that position, so we'll start there. But if I,
He's
by
not
the
that
grace
smart
of
of a
God,
guy.
I would certainly have a side bet on Auburn.
Yeah, you'd feel like you had to hedge.
Yeah.
And so JJ was encouraging him to put $1,000 on these games. And
For like the last 2 weeks.
Yeah,
really.
Yeah. Because he wanted him to do it against Maryland, against Texas Tech, and he just, his buddy just held steadfast.
Florida's a favorite, so we'll see. Hopefully he doesn't have to hedge, and the Gators can get it done tomorrow night.
Yeah.
Hard to believe. This game feels like it's taken 3 months to get here.
Right? Yeah.
I mean, it's been one of the longest weeks ever in terms of waiting on a sporting event. But yeah, it should be fun tomorrow night to see how it goes.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what are you looking at this afternoon? That and more, I'm sure.
That and more, yeah. Pete Prisco will join us at 5 to talk all things Jaguars and NFL. So, Frank's obviously on vacation, so it'll be Hack and I again, and we're going to get into lots of Jaguar stuff. Certainly we'll preview the Final Four, and we'll talk a little golf as well. Boy, it seems like Liv is now really kind of struggling
on an island.
Yeah, and I think I commend the PGA Tour for turning down their merger request, because I think the PGA Tour has them right where they want them.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't merge with them now.
Yeah.
They're irrelevant.
Yeah.
It's soulless golf, which we knew it would be, but 5 years has only proven that out. These quote stars that have gone over there have lost all of their name value basically, and the PGA Tour continues to keep sizzling. So I mean, I don't think Liv has anything to offer the PGA Tour now that the PGA Tour secured all that capital.
You know why, Carlin? America.
That's right.
But the big one was that you had like the Brooks. If you could have kept DeChambeau from going,
right?
Brooks from going, Cam from going, you would have been okay with Bubba and Sergio and all the older ones leaving.
Patrick
But those
Reed.
those young
It's just
stars,
like a Champions Tour
you
then,
want to see them play and compete.
Right.
And it'd be
Even
great
Patrick Reed.
if they could figure it out. But if I'm the PGA Tour, I'm not agreeing to some merge that incorporates Live Golf into the PGA Tour so that I can bring back 3 guys that I think the tour has moved on from.
Yeah.
And
Hey, listen, I'll just leave you with this.
And the other thing too is I don't think we'll talk more about this, and I don't mean to take up all the time, but but the other thing too is I don't think Liv's in a position now where you have to worry about them coming and picking off players from the PGA Tour. Why would you go? I mean, all the players that are on the Live Tour for the most part have voiced some semblance of competitive regret for going.
Yeah.
So if you're the PGA Tour, I don't think you have to worry about like Rory or Scheffler or Morikawa or any of the guys that, and particularly the stars, Oberg, that are starting to come on. They're going to stay on the PGA Tour. They're not going to Live.
These purses have increased and will stay. They'll stick around. The other part of it is that they did come with this landmark decision earlier today. They're going to go back to pants. And so that should change everything. Just
exactly.
So you know. They've now finally relented.
As long as we here don't go back to pants, I'll be fine. I like to wear my shorts.
Exactly. You and your shorts are
Thank
out
you
of
guys.
here. Hayes and Hack, along with JJ, they will be coming up a little bit later. Well, in just a matter of minutes. Coach Campo, thanks for hanging out with us.
You got it. Can I say one more quick thing?
Oh, yeah.
I'm a Florida fan now because I'm close.
Yeah.
But the head coach is so cocky. If I was coaching, I'd want to beat his butt.
Gators got that Rambo Jamma. Ooh. All right, we are out. Coach Campo, Matty Hayes, Joe C, JJ. Have a great Friday. Enjoy the Final Four. And you got Hack and Hayes coming up next.
What's that?
What the hell?